Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Minnesota Homestead. Today we are taking extra precautions to take care of our honeybees this winter. As you know, we keep bees in northern climates, northern Minnesota, and so it's extremely important that we're taking good care of them. The survival rate here is very, very low, and we were in particularly dire straits going into our winter. Not dire straits over the winter, but we had a queenless situation over the summer, where our bees were without a queen for maybe up to even 2 months. So the colony was strengthening when we were going in and winterizing them. If you haven't checked that video out, it's just a couple of weeks ago. I really encourage you to take a look at that one. But after we've winterized them and everything like that, we are wanting to do anything else we can to help them, even though their population was a little stronger. So one thing we can do is help make sure they have plenty of food stores. We didn't harvest really any honey this year because we wanted to leave them as much as possible, and we weren't at the point of putting honey supers out or anything, but we still want to make sure they have everything that they need. So today I'm going to be making a candy board, which is sugar. So what I've done here is, this is an inner cover for a hive. So typically this goes right on top of the frames, with the outer cover on top of the inner cover. Clever. It has this hole right here, kind of an oval, and that's something that's going to be helpful to us here. But before I get to that, what we've done is we've taken that and then we just got supports, nailed them around the sides, built a frame and then nailed the inner cover onto that. So what I like about having this hole in the middle is that it gives the bees a good place to get up and start eating the candy. I will completely cover that with candy, but that's there for them to eat, so they're going to start eating their way up there right away. Another reason that I'm making sure I cover that is this is going to replace our moisture board. And this is again the reason why you should go back and watch that other video. The moisture board is there to stop any condensation that forms on the inside of the outer cover from dropping down and getting the bees wet. They can handle cold, they can't handle wet and cold. So this is going to be replacing that moisture board, so I don't want to have a hole in the candy where more moisture could be dropping down. As we look at this throughout the winter, when we're doing quick sporadic inspections when it's 40-45 degrees or something, we'll make sure that this isn't opening up at all and take appropriate steps if it is, to make sure that no other condensation is dripping down. So that little hole gives them a great place to get up, start nibbling, then I'll move outward and upward throughout the rest of the candy and keep going from there. So what to do to fill it up? There are two typical methods of making a candy board. One of them is a little bit longer actual processing time, but the other is a little bit longer curing time, and that's the method I'm going to use today. But one is to basically boil the water, the sugar on the stove, get it to really, I want to say it's in like the 250 degree temperature. I don't use that method, so don't quote me on it. But that's a little bit finickier, I believe. So I use the method that has a shorter busy time, but a little bit longer curing time, which is mixing the sugar and the water, putting them in the board, and letting it dry. Up here at the homestead, we have our beautiful wood stove. So I'm just gonna plop this right in front of it and let the heat of that take care of the curing overnight tonight. So what I've done here is I have taken I started with a 15-pound bag of sugar. So I'm guessing I've taken about 8 or 9 pounds of sugar with about 3 cups of water. And I will use a snow correlation. So if you are not from Minnesota, I will attempt another one for you. But so the consistency here, it's similar to what you would find if you are looking to make a good snowman. So it's wet snow. Focus, please. And again, this is not snow, it's sugar. But so it's slightly wet, but you can see it would squish together really well. Excellent for making a snowman or a snowball to throw at my husband. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start getting this into the candy board. I will likely not fill the candy board all the way to the top because last year we had an even weaker hive going in and we put in about 21 pounds of sugar and they did not get through quite, they got through maybe 2/3 of it. So I'm going to start with a little bit less for this stronger hive and then we will add more throughout the year as needed. So I'm just smoothing it out. You'll notice I do have some paper underneath because there is that hole that I am covering with sugar. But I don't want that to drip through onto the table or cause a mess when I move this over in front of the fireplace in a little bit. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to mix up some more sugar, and then I'm going to show you one more step before I get this over in front of the fire. I now have a good foundation of sugar all the way across my candy board. So there's one other thing I'm going to do before I plop on a little bit more sugar and get it over in front of the wood stove. And that is add some pollen substitute patties. When you are preparing your bees for winter, if you're looking to add a little weight to them or something like that, you get some sugar water in there and you do a 2-to-1 ratio to help them gain that weight and get that extra energy and oomph. But something you don't do in the fall, and you only do it in the spring, is add pollen patties. Because these are like their pure protein, or they're the majority of their protein. And this is going to make them think that they have got that oomph and that energy, and it's time to lay and raise brood. And we obviously don't want that to happen in the fall as they're getting ready to go into their smaller stage where, you know, they reduce the population a little bit by getting rid of all the drones and things like that. But since they are already in their winterized cycle, they are nestled in, they're amazing little internal clocks and calendars and everything know that it's not brood rearing time in the middle of the cold. We can go ahead and put this in here now. Last year we put 2 halves of, so 1 pollen patty, 2 halves of a patty in there, and this is what they absolutely decimated. Basically all the sugar they ate was right around the areas where the pollen was so they could get into these. So I'm actually going to lay 3 halves of a pollen patty in here. And 2 of them to the side, and this last one I'll kind of put right there. But as you can see here, I'm leaving the paper on the pollen patty. That is perfectly fine. You don't need to worry about taking that off. They chomp right through it. So I've got 3 pollen patties settled right in here. And then the last thing I'm going to do is take a little bit more sugar, put that over it, and then get that curing overnight. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about the adventures we go through with our honeybees. Please send us positive thoughts and hopes, and if you pray prayers for our honeybees, I really hope they make it this winter. I'm going to be so excited if we get to go into next spring with a big, beautiful, healthy colony, maybe one that we can divide. So we'll see how that goes, but thank you for joining us. I hope you learned a lot, and make sure to hit that subscribe button and the follow button, that little bell icon, so you get notified every time we load something up. Check out our Instagram at the.mn.homestead, and lastly, check out our blog, themnhomestead.com. And we will see you next time at the homestead.